Welcome to UI Squared, everybody.
So we are officially Oofy.
Yes.
Although many have vetoed that name.
On this show, we're going to be talking about a variety of different subjects that we are well underqualified to talk about.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Percy Jackson series.
Jeffrey Epstein, everybody.
Should be a great conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Guys, I think we're up to 6 views.
Wow.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
No, it's free. It's 10. I looked today.
Whoa!
Yeah, I know.
I watched it 4 more times.
Wait, before we go.
I actually watched it 10 times, so sorry. Yes.
Wow, yeah. You just bamboozled us all. Before we start, and I already broke this rule, me and Michael, well, we talked, and we were like, we probably shouldn't curse much. I'll cut it out. It's fine.
Well, because I was listening through, and Evan was like, you gotta hit that shit up. I'm like, eventually, we need to just calm.
Michael, you just made so much extra work for me by quoting me.
Wait, you should have just gone in and replaced everything with like, gosh darn.
I feel like after the first 30 minutes, that would have just been like, oh my god, like I would have run out of things.
No, just replace it with like a really overzealous like bleep out, like just oh god, beep,
just super loud.
Or just beep out like certain sections.
That is true. I mean, if we don't curse, we could get monetized.
We could. Although I think it's like within the first minute, if you don't curse, you're fine within the first minute and like the last minute. And it was perfect because last time, Seth, you cursed like exactly at the minute mark. I was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah, but
wait, so if we just like put
how does monetizing even work? Like how many views do you have to get?
We have to be like in the partner program, and for that to work, we have to be in like super like popular.
Mm-hmm.
But
wait, could we just put the video on loop and then just kind of like hedge the numbers?
I mean, you don't want to put that on recording, but I mean, also, I don't think we could get monetized because the song in the intro is copyrighted. So
classic.
Listen,
great job, Evan.
If you want to make a new intro, be my guest. Also copyrighted. Welcome to UI Squared, everyone.
Wait, real talk. If you took a song, you can keep this in the show. If you took a song that's copyrighted, but then you like changed the pitch, so instead of like, it's like a full note up, so it's a completely different song.
I don't think that would hold up in court.
Yeah, that also ruins the song. Like, if we're gonna include a copyrighted song in the show, it's gotta be a banger.
Yeah, if we're gonna have a bop, then it's
gonna...
No, definitely not.
If it's gonna stay in there, it's gonna be good.
If it's gonna be a bop, it's gonna be a bop, right?
Yeah, there's no bones about it.
Well, fellas, this is the segment where we let you into our personal lives, where we just argue on the air.
This is just what happens. Like, just
this is a glimpse into who we really are.
Yeah, a normal conversation with Seth, Robey, Evan, and Michael is just us yelling at each other.
There's usually slightly more fear and slightly less boredom.
Yes. I mean, a
little more violence, but that comes and goes.
Yeah, Seth and Robey hit each other. The good thing about this is Seth and Robey can't hit each other. Now.
She hits me. Okay, let's make it clear.
Okay.
Seth is definitely more horny during our.
We'll fix them both.
Exposed. No, that is staying in.
No, Robey just constantly hits me for no reason. I am attacked, assaulted every day. This quarantine has been, a relief. Because she does not have to hit me every day.
I know what you're talking about.
She's going to have to, like, catch up.
All I did was throw one snowball at her, and all of a sudden she's freaking slapping me all over the place.
Didn't you,
like,
she slapped me
twice? Okay, you slapped me like 12 times after that one slap.
Oh, no. I gave you a light tap after you freaking slapped me across the face.
Hikey, funny moment.
It's those two officers. They're the ones that that are violent.
Yeah, Robey is just mean. But it's okay.
That's Evan Jimenez, who's got a stylish beard. I'm doing the intros tonight, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Michael Wax, who some might affectionately call Da Boy, and Seth Delisle, our main man. And I'm crunching on a salad.
I just want Robey to be eating more and more elaborate foods.
Yeah.
With every episode.
That is I want something that just really crunches next time. Maybe I'll eat like a spine.
Oh. I was thinking like Cheerios.
All right,
I was thinking.
Let's talk about that.
Like Doritos.
Yeah.
Entirely run with that one.
Maybe some corn.
She chose to say spine. She knew what she was saying, and she chose to say it.
My question is, where are you going to get the spine from?
I feel like that's a question you shouldn't have asked Evan.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah,
she's too far away from me to hurt me. So
Daddy Brown.
Do you want to, Evan? Do you want to take that bet?
Do I want to risk it? Not really.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
No, guys, it's Daddy Brown's. It's Daddy Brown's spine. His spinal fluid will make you strong.
You won't be able to see this, but he just pulled up Daddy Brown on the Zoom chat. So as his background.
Can they not see my background? That's a bummer.
No. We upload the audio, Seth.
Let's make it a visual show.
Yeah, well, right now my background is Christ, if anyone's wondering.
Yeah, specifically Christ, that is.
I've also got the three little pigs over here wearing no pants for some reason. And Evan, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, this week's kind of like last week where, we're all just stuck at home. We're a little loosey-goosey, if you will. We don't really know what we're doing.
When have we ever known that?
I think with slightly more structure. I feel like when you have a microphone in front of you and you're in a studio, you kind of feel like you have to be more professional. But now I'm in my pajamas.
Yeah, like when it says live, and then it's like, oh, we should be doing something.
But now I can say fuck. So, because we're more than a minute into the video.
I'm not professional unless I'm wearing shoes, and I'm not currently wearing shoes. So,
Well, you could always just take your shoes off in the studio. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could.
I feel like that's a little too hedonistic for my taste.
So,
well, fellas, before we get into it tonight, quick life update.
Sure.
Anyone gone crazy yet?
I'm getting there. I'm slowly moving my way over to crazy.
Yeah. I've been practicing. I've been spending my time, quote unquote, doing work, listening to the Adventure Zone, and practicing the piano because I haven't done that in years. So I've been trying to learn a song on the piano.
Been playing some video games, watching some Netflix. I've finished Sex Ed, and I'm not okay with this. And then I watched the first season of The End of the Fucking World. So,
Michael, what you been doing?
Sleeping. That's literally it. That's the one thing I love about this quarantine is I can actually get some sleep.
Is the tiger thing good?
It is.
Watched it.
Tiger King is good.
So I'm very bad for this, but I said last week that I watched one episode. I've only watched two full episodes since then. It gets better and better, simultaneously better and better, and worse the more you watch it. Can you attest to that, Robey?
Yeah. It's just one of those things, it's great, but in a bad way.
It's like
isn't it crazy though?
Yeah, it's like a car crash you can't take your eyes off of. Except the people involved, if they're bad people.
Let's put it this way. If one of those shows about saving animals had a child with Queer Eye for the Straight Guy and Duck Dynasty, that is Tiger King.
Huh.
Also, one of the ladies fed her husband to a tiger.
That is just a rumor.
Classic.
As just
if O.J. Simpson can confirm it, that man knows his murder. Okay, he can.
Bro, there's one point where she just goes like, "My missing husband." Oh, wink, wink.
Isn't it just like, in order to feed someone to a tiger, you'd have to cover them in salmon oil? I'm like,
yeah, I saw that online.
So come on,
Fed
y'all.
her husband to tigers. Which, good on her, That's creative.
Yeah, if my wife's going to kill me one day, I hope she does it in a creative way.
That's solid. It'll happen either way, but that's solid.
But you don't want to just get, shot. You want something interesting to happen.
Yeah.
You want a story to be able to tell your ghost grandchildren.
Exactly.
Bring back
I'm going to go down to hell, with a great story.
Yeah.
Just, strolling down those stairs.
Yeah.
You'll never believe what happened to me.
I guess it's a highway, though.
Only if you listen to Bon Jovi.
I don't think Highway to Hell.
I'm sorry.
No,
it's not Bon Jovi.
Did you say Bon Jovi?
Jovi?
Yes. It's not Bon Jovi.
No, AC/DC.
That's right.
Well, Evan.
Welcome to UI Squared, everybody.
Yeah.
One of the 2 people that's going to watch this on YouTube just turned it off.
Well,
because you messed that up.
And it's you, isn't it? It's you. You're the one.
It's all of us. We can't watch it now because you just did that.
What am I
Well, that was
thinking of?
embarrassing.
That's a Bon Jovi song. Hold on.
Living on a Prayer.
No.
It's My Life.
That's pretty much all I got. Wanted, Dead
Give
or
Love a
Alive.
Bad Name.
Lost Highway. I was thinking of Lost Highway.
All right, Evan. Who does Stairway to Heaven?
Evan.
No.
Oh no.
Evan.
I know this.
Evan.
But I'm tired.
Okay, well, wake up and tell us.
Led Zeppelin.
There you go.
Yay. He's been redeemed, everyone. We like him again. We're not going to feed him to the National Guard.
Wait, what? Was the National Guard going to eat me?
Please, National Guardsmen, take Evan, not me.
But she said specifically feed me, like they were going to like they're knocking on doors like, we need food. And you're just going to give me to them, like hand me off.
Whatever
Right.
works, you know?
When society collapses.
I feel like the people
When society
that don't
collapses,
know
slowly
AC/DC
takes
songs
drink.
will not be the first ones to go.
She said what she said, so Evan.
I said earlier
was
tonight that I'm going
nice
to
to
eat
know
a
you.
spine. Like,
Yeah,
let's go from there.
those were things that were said. Indeed.
You know what I think is so fun, though? So for all the listeners out there, I'm living with Evan and Seth Nebby. Hopefully. I am
Oh,
living
God,
with them
we
next
right
can't
now.
wait till we get to have that
Oh my God.
Zoom meeting.
That's going to be the most serious
It's
meeting
gonna
of my
feel like
life.
a class. We're going over spreadsheets and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what is that?
Anyway. They've never seen me at, like, the special 3 a.m. Robey. Like, the Robey who gets in a specific mood, who only talks in a certain tone of voice. And I can try and replicate it now, but I don't think I can.
I'm a little frightened. What is this Robey like?
Robey's like, well, you know,
All right, can't live with each other anymore.
All right,
Gosh
yes.
darn, it was good while it lasted. I'm going for a single.
It was a nice run. We can
I'll
still
pay that
remove her from the group.
$20,000.
It's fine.
Honestly, it
Me-
makes it so much easier on you guys, because I'm the only one who's messing it up with gender neutral.
I mean, if anything, since we're
I'm a
gender
guy.
neutral, we pick earlier. So
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what actually happens to determine if gender neutral helps or hurts us. Because, like, there's not many gender neutral rooms, but there's also not many people registering
Gender
for
neutral.
it. So, who knows
who knows?
what'll happen.
You guys, we've been praying to God for like 6 months, and none of us believe in God. So,
No. Hey! I pray.
Evan, you believe in God in the way that, like, just in case, you know, like break glass in case of emergency.
And that's more than y'all. I don't know what you're saying. Like,
Look, I'll get on my knees and praise anyone. If I knew the truth, like, I'd be there, you know? Like, I'll follow Jesus Christ. I'll follow whoever.
My background is literally the crucifixion of Christ right now.
I
yeah,
feel like that's a bad moment to pick.
yeah, that's not.
What are you talking about?
You're giving us that bad luck.
Should I get the Last
don't.
Supper? Or?
Yes. If anything, it's just a prettier picture.
Get the resurrection.
Nah, that's not as much fun as the crucifixion.
Well, this is why you're going to hell.
Well, that's why we're
Well, you know,
welcome.
it's like that tweet from the Satan Twitter account. It's like, if one sin's going to send you to hell, why not go for 1 million and come down here a legend, you know?
It's true. I don't know, man. I probably have 1 million sins. Like, coveting
Eating
is
spine.
one, you know?
Yeah.
Eating pork is one. Never mind eating spines.
Is eating pork a sin?
Eating pork, shellfish.
I'm pretty sure
Something.
that's only in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still in the
That's
Bible.
like Judaism. Yeah, but like New Testament contradicts a lot of the Old Testament. So
Well, it's supposed to be the...
Hence the problem with the Bible.
well,
No, it's supposed to be the... Okay. This is not what we should be talking about. But...
No, lay your South Carolina Bible
yeah,
knowledge on
if
it.
anything, you know more than we all do.
Okay, so in the New Testament, it's supposed to be like God forgiving us by sending down his son and saying, like, I died for all your sins. This is my new way. So the teaching of Jesus overrule the rules in the Old Testament, which is why Levitical law is kind of like, which this is the problem with Christians. They cite Levitical
Isn't
law.
Leviticus like the stone the gays, dude?
Yes, but
Yeah.
it's because of the whole like Jesus thing. It lets you get a divorce. It lets you wear like multi-fiber clothing. It lets you eat shellfish. But for some reason, the only Levitical law that is still in effect is the stone the gays. It don't make sense. There was my little Christian knowledge.
Right. Well, you've been to how many services and how many different denominations of Christianity?
Well, I've been to every single church in the area. Actually, probably not anymore. But when I was a kid, I hit all of them.
Do churches just like pop up
Oh yeah.
around you?
I just don't understand. That's just weird to me. I've had the same two churches in my town for my entire life.
On my side of town, which is the west side, we have 25 churches, I think is the count.
That's a lot of churches.
Yeah.
And it's like double that on the east side.
God.
Because it's all like the Methodists and the Catholics and the Baptists.
Well, what do you need all those churches for? Like, how many people live there?
If you drive down one road, it's literally, I think you don't go more than 50 feet without there being a church. And it's like a 5-mile road.
So what is it, like church, McDonald's, church, like what?
Yeah, it's like a big church gas station, big church barber shop, big church Wendy's, big church roller palace, big church.
Literally, I always
Small
thought of
church.
like South Carolina and the South, and I was like, those stereotypes can't be true. Like, no stereotypes are true.
And then
you describe South Carolina to me, and I'm like, oh my God, they were right this whole
Just
time.
like the simulations.
Yeah.
It's real.
So yeah, it's been a time, you guys. South Carolina's a wacky place. All right, does anyone have anything to talk about? Evan, you want to go?
All right, I'll go first, I guess. So, a lot since we are in this enforced quarantine, I think, I've had a lot more time on my hands, just in general, to peruse social media, to get on, to do some good things and to do some bad things. And I feel like one of those bad things has been my don't know. I don't want to know.
It took Robey like 3 seconds.
No,
Fix it.
you're right. But
Bro.
and I think one of those bad things like that I've really been doing is getting stuck on social media a lot. It's specifically Instagram, because you find on Instagram now a lot of those like bingo challenges or whatever, like a lot of those like everybody's doing stuff like Com School bingo, but BU bingo, Franklin High School bingo.
I swear to God, Evan, every time you mention me in your story, I get irrationally angry. I'm like, why is he doing this again?
That's the goal. That's why I stopped mentioning people, because I was like, this is getting ridiculous. Like the first 2 times was fine, but like now this is just like, okay, because it's getting ridiculous.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of that going on, and there's a lot of just like the scraping the gutter of what Instagram is. And I'm just like looking at all of these, like getting like pulled all of these like TikToks and all of these like Instagram like all these models on the Discover page pop up, and I'm just like, I just feel more and more like I feel worse about myself now just looking at like all this stuff. Pardon me.
I'm gonna expose myself here. I am here for TikTok. Like, I wasn't originally, but I gotta say, some of them are funny.
I mean, some of them are funny.
Like, I'm down for it. Like, if you get a solid, like, you play the algorithm and you just, like, tailor your For You page, solid. That is what I'll while away my time on.
I mean, they're funny. Like, yeah. But I feel like I don't have so much a problem with TikToks. Well, with some of the TikToks. Like, the humor ones. But a lot of them are just, like, the dances with, like, girls, mostly underage, that are, like, and like and then the model, it's just like makes me uncomfortable, and it makes me like feel bad about myself. Like I don't really, I don't know, I don't understand it. And I feel like it's getting to a point where you're really starting to see like the bad parts of Instagram, where it's just like the low ball, gutter ball, just nothing posts, just nothing. Like I'm filling my time with nothing stuff at this point, and it's just like, it's exhausting because I don't know. There's just so much of it.
You need a hobby.
That's why I'm trying to like listen to the Adventure Zone and play games and practice piano because I need to fill my time with something. But like I feel like all the social media right now, especially it's really bringing out the bad parts of the social media. It's like everyone's bored, so there's just a lot of nothing going on right now.
Well, I mean, you think about it. When we first got social media, it was at its kind of beginning stages. And that's exactly what it was back then, which was just posting a bunch of nothing of like, hey, this is the all the stuff in my life that's just not important. And I feel like we're getting back to that point. Mm-hmm. So in essence, I've been thinking about this a lot too, but in essence, we've taken a step back during this scenario. And it's unfortunate, but hopefully we can get back to that. You know, I know a lot of people that aren't favorable of, you know, social media putting your best self out there instead of your honest self, but that's a lot better than what we're getting right now.
I mean, I agree with that, and I agree with that in some parts because I do know like right now it's just a lot of like nonsense, and the whole putting like what we had before of the people that it's like people putting out. Robey, you good? Is there like a murder in your house or something?
No, the gun guy is just out. Sorry.
Oh, the gun guy.
Why is South Carolina exactly what I pictured?
The gun guy's there.
That's old gun guy Greg, you know.
I couldn't tell if it was fireworks or a gun. Sorry.
Dang it, Greg.
It probably didn't read on the audio.
It didn't, but...
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You guys keep going.
Now my mind is just racing with the possibilities of gun guy Greg running around with a shotgun and American flag.
Confederate flag.
Yeah, Confederate flag. My mistake. So I think like what we had before wasn't good either. The whole like just put your best self out there, and I think we need a little bit of honesty on our social media. But right now, rather than just like the honest stuff, like since nothing's happening and nobody can really go out and put that fake self out, rather than just putting out like their honest day-to-day self, it's more just like nothing. Like we're just kind of left alone with our thoughts, and that manifests on social media as a lot of like kind of BS posts and like reposts of like show stuff. Like a lot of the stuff I get is like fan art from like shows and stuff, which is nice, but then you get into like the weird stuff and it's just like nothing posts about sports and like BS, and it's just people trying to fill the page, like trying to do something, but it's just nothing. And I feel like it's just stuff to like stimulate your mind, like, oh, that's a thing. But it's just getting exhausting now because I'm spending my hours scrolling through looking at nothing, and exacerbates what I think is wrong with social media, that it enables you to scroll through a page looking at nothing.
Yeah, I don't frequently use social media because I just don't like it at all. I just don't have the patience to like keep up a persona on social media. So I mean, I've never liked it or never used it. So I'm not always in tune to the changes in social media, but there is definitely moments in the day where I literally, especially now, have nothing to do. It's like I could play video games, but I've been playing video games for 6 straight hours, so I probably shouldn't do that. I don't want to do schoolwork because that just makes me more bored. But I don't have social media to go to because I just don't use it. So there are moments where I'd be like, man, it'd be nice if I could just scroll through Instagram right now.
I use a lot of social media, but I don't know. To me, it's very like, it's not a serious thing. It's almost like just another, kind of dumb app to while away the time kind of thing. The only thing I have noticed is since going on quarantine, instead of getting songs stuck in my head, I get the audio to like Vines or TikToks stuck in my head. Like the repeated ones. So that has been an unfortunate side effect. But I don't know. I think it's a good time waster, but I don't spend that much time on social media.
I think it's fine when it's just like what you said, just like a dumb app to like waste away the time. But yeah, when it becomes go ahead.
I kind of forget that like people put effort into like Instagram and stuff like that, because I just don't. Like, it is purely there for me to enjoy other people's content. It's kind of like YouTube,
Yeah.
so I never really, I don't identify with people who are always like, oh, I have such a problem with Instagram because like people, put so much work into it or whatever. It's because I completely forget that people do that.
I don't really, yeah. I don't put too much effort into it, but I do like post on there semi-regularly in terms of just on like stories and stuff, just because it's a thing to do. But when it becomes like just one of the only things to do, I think it's a problem when it's just like you're just only really doing that. And especially because like I mentioned earlier, I was listening to a lot of the Adventure Zone, and you need something to look at when you're listening to the Adventure Zone. You need something to do with like your eyes or like your hands or something, because otherwise you're just kind of sitting there. So I find myself just like listening to it and scrolling through just to have something that's there for my eyes to like, so I'm stimulating my senses in a way.
When I was going through the Adventure Zone, I had one of those dumb idle tap games, which are kind of like the bane of my existence because I really like goal-oriented games, which is why I love like Skyrim and stuff like that. But I had just gotten it and I was like kind of into it. And so I just did that while I was listening to the Adventure Zone, and it was perfect. Like, it was so dumb. I didn't have to do anything, and I could just absorb myself into like, because Adventure Zone is a narrative story. So you need something that is not like, doesn't take your focus away, but also so you're not just staring into the abyss,
Yeah. And I think with that specifically, it's gotten a little easier because as the story has evolved, it's become a lot more narrative heavy, and there's a lot more like things like tales being woven into the story.
Yeah,
so
you
it's
guys,
a lot easier to just kind of
sit
there.
Go listen to the Adventure Zone.
Yeah,
it's so
listen to
good.
the Adventure Zone. It's great. It's honestly really good. Like, I didn't believe it really at first until I started listening. I was like, wow, this is really
exactly.
Good.
That's like the first 20 episodes. You're like, this is good, but I don't see how I could like cry at it or why people get so attached. And then by the end, you're like, I get it.
Yeah, you're crying, and you're like, oh. And I haven't gotten quite to the end yet, but we're getting there. And there have been some moments where I was like, oh,
that shit hurted.
Kind of sad. Yeah, but I think as the narrative has evolved, it's gotten easier just to kind of sit and look into the abyss while I'm listening. But I don't know. I think when getting back to the topic, I think when social media is just like a supplement to just look at stuff while you're like, it's sort of like a supplementary article. So like while you're doing something else, it's just kind of there. While you're listening to something, it's just kind of there. But as a means of just like, I have nothing to do, let me scroll through this and look at this meme that I've seen for the past 20 times in the past 15 minutes that's not even funny anymore. Or like when I see the same TikToks over and over and over again, and I start to question my mortality, like it's just not like, it's just not.
My very existence starts.
Man, you're deep in
nothing.
the feed.
Yeah, you just really get down there, and I think that's kind of my point. Is I feel like that's kind of the problem.
You need a new app.
Yeah, maybe I need to get away from it because I just kind of like looking at nothing. It's like watching the news on a 24/7 cycle. It just makes you sad. But now I just see, like, in addition to the barrels and barrels of nonsense that's there, of bad memes and 15-year-olds dancing on my phone screen. Like now I'm also getting fed like, oh yeah, we're still suffering. Like everyone's just like, it's in a time like this, social media is just exhausting.
Like as
app.
as someone that like used social media for my job, it was really tough. And I think the fact that I'm not working anymore is benefiting to my health because I'm not constantly like refreshing the page, seeing if people have like read or watched my stuff. So, and like seeing the things that I'm doing. So in essence, like I've been on Twitter a lot less, which is the bane of my existence. I hate Twitter.
Yeah.
Like I'm on Instagram a lot less too. The only reason I have Facebook is because of BU. Once I leave BU, I'm leaving Facebook. But like I think that the fact that during this quarantine I haven't had to go on has been just so relaxing. And I haven't gotten to that point where I've seen like the same videos too much. which is good.
Yeah, I think that's good. And you hit on something that's just like, I just like, oh my God, how could I forget about that? The refreshing the page constantly, checking to see if like who watched my bingo thing, who watched my story of my music of the day thing. Like, it's just incredible how I find myself like it feeding my own insecurities. Is just like, oh, they didn't watch it. I wonder why they didn't watch it. Now that I have just so much time on my hands, I have nothing else to do but scroll through a page and check to see who clicked on my hobby. Again, why I'm starting to do all this stuff, because it's just like it's bad for people that are really struggling with their own image and just with like being alone and being like having too much time. It's not good for that. It's not good for a time like this.
Evan, I'm gonna follow you.
Why?
I don't know. Because I was like, I haven't been on my Instagram in so long because I haven't posted. I don't do anything.
Okay.
And I go on and I'm so confused because I somehow have 40 followers, and it just confused me because I've never posted, never done a single thing on Instagram, and I have 40
Probably
followers.
like us.
Like,
yeah.
Weird.
I think with the first time I tagged you in a story or something, Mario was like, he has an Instagram? I was like, yeah, he told it to me. She's like, oh my God. And she followed you right away. So
yeah, I mean, I try not to advertise it because then people are like, oh my God, like you have an Instagram? Like, what is it? And then I'm like, don't expect me to use it because I don't.
Yeah, don't. It's just there.
So I try not to like, be like, hey, I have an Instagram, because then everyone's like, oh my God, what is it? And I'm like, yeah, well, do you really want to know? It's not anything.
It's like me with my Tinder.
Oh my God,
your Tinder makes me so okay. Let's digress here for a moment to talk about Robey's Tinder.
Okay, first off, you cannot insult my Tinder after going off about your Instagram. Like,
okay, Instagram, Tinder, two different things. Let's not get distracted here.
My name is hypocrite.
Tinder. So Robey reveals at some point this semester that she has Tinder, and I go.
No. I don't just reveal it. I say to him openly, I made it as a joke. There's nothing on it. And he goes like crazy.
No, I'm just like, oh, let me see it. But then, of course, because she's Robey and she wants to be mean to me, she's like, no, you can't see it. So then I'm like, oh, there must be something on there she doesn't want me to see, right? So then we go back and forth forever. I'm pretty sure eventually I just like steal her phone out of her hands while it's on.
You did.
And then look at it. And it's so boring. It's like one picture. She doesn't have a bio. And I'm like, oh, wow. Why were you refusing to show it to me? So anyway, I digress.
It did become a principle of the thing, Yeah. Like I told you no, just to tell you no.
Yeah, exactly. So that made me think like, oh man, there's something on this Tinder that's just hilarious.
She's hiding something from us. Like,
yeah.
Especially with you, it's like you don't want to share something with us. What's on it? Like,
so in other words, you're a fool.
I mean,
there's only like 7 or 8 things I haven't told you guys yet.
And now I want to know all of those 7 or 8.
Here's Robey, everyone. Here's Robey. She just drops, oh, there's only like 7 or 8 things that I have.
Yeah, she does this.
And then just doesn't follow up. I'm like, what? Who does that? No.
It's like you guys don't know this random thing about me. And she's like, oh, what is that? And she's like, nah, it's not time yet. Like, what?
I figured out it made Seth mad really early on.
It does make me mad, all right? I hate being baited by people.
I just do it with Seth.
I hate being baited. And so, so now we have video recording evidence that Robey is mean to me. Good.
Look, I won't deny that one. Yeah.
Robey,
that's like the most intentional mean thing I've done to you, I think. Is just I will intentionally bait you sometimes.
And look, for how long we've known each other, me and Robey have shared quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Evan, we don't need to get into it, but
no, I'm
there
sure
is a point where I'm like
will.
Slightly worried just because it's like, ooh, this is going really fast. And every time that's happened in my life, it always ends up like, those are the people I don't talk to anymore. And I was like, it's fine.
Good to know. Well, anyway,
you guys ever had that where you become friends with someone really fast and it turns really weird really fast? Was that just me? Was that just South Carolina people?
No,
What do you
because you
mean?
have to like be good at making friends in order to have that happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work if you're someone who's not like an extrovert.
Evan, have you ever had that happen to you?
What do you mean?
Like where you become friends with someone really fast and then it just turns weird and it feels like you guys like jumped over a lot of essential steps. Like, I know that you're depressed and want to kill yourself, but I don't know your last name. Like that kind of thing.
I feel, okay, this is a weird thing that happens with me and my dad, because we've talked about this, is that people tend, with us, for no explicit reason,
to just tell you things?
Too, they just tell me things.
They just tell you things.
They just tell me things. Like, at the beginning of the school year, I saw a friend at the GSU, and I was like, oh, what's up? So I went and sat with them, and she was sitting with friends that I didn't know, and they were like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I was like, hey, how you doing? And then she just started talking about her depression, like deep-seated, like, yeah, I want to kill myself. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know your full name yet, but thank you for telling me. Like,
the day I met
I'll
someone
listen, but
in high school, they told me about their eating disorder, and I'm like, what?
It's like, okay.
Happens with
Evan, I think you're just a very approachable person.
I mean, cool.
We're just too extroverted.
That's kind of hilarious, but I mean, yes, but not. But I don't know. It's weird, and I know, like, my dad told me once that he was outside with one of my neighbors, and he was just like, "Oh, how you doing? Just casual. What's up?" And she just started telling her deep-seated thoughts, and like, oh, this is what's happening with my dog. Like, he's sick, he's dying. We went to the doctor, and this and that. And my dad's just like, oh, okay. Like, I'm well also, but like, let's talk about you. Like, it's just, I don't know.
I understand that completely. Sorry, we just went off there. It doesn't make great audio, but we had a moment.
Yeah, it's fine.
This is basically an improv show. Let's be real.
At this point, it's just becoming an improv show because nothing's happening. So nothing.
What do we talk about when nothing's happening?
So I could talk about how I hate the American government, but everyone knows that. Like,
yeah,
everyone hates the American government. We're Americans.
Everyone hates the American government until somebody that's not American disrespects the American government.
Yeah, then we're like, oh. Until like some British person is like, hey, like, America, you should probably check this. And we're like, oh, 1776, bitch, It's
like, oh, well, you see, I would do that, but also revolution.
I can't hear you over the sound of freedom. So.
Hey, y'all, it's Evan here, your co-DJ of Unsolicited Information from Unqualified Individuals. Thank you for listening to us crack jokes and be stupid for an hour. We really appreciate all your love and support. Make sure to follow us at WTBU_UI2 on Twitter and Instagram to check to see when we're bringing more content to your lovely faces. Also, we post memes sometimes. I don't know. It's really Michael's ballpark. I don't know what he does, but he might surprise you and do something really funny. And you don't want to miss out on a joke. Like, come on, like, jokes, man. We got him. He got him, probably. I don't know. Also, when you get a chance, make sure to listen to some other shows on WTBU. We got a lot of cool, awesome, fun stuff. If UI Squared's not your cup of tea, maybe you like hearing about people talk about different stuff. We have a wide variety of selections of shows. Some of them are really weird and interesting, and I think you'll like them. We also had a Howard Stern show a couple of years ago when he went to BU, which I just figured out, and I don't know how I didn't know that before, but now I do. I also figured out that Daniel Avidan from Game Grumps went to BU and was a comm kid, which is just amazing. But anyways, thanks for listening. I'm gonna let you get back to the show. I'm gonna stop ranting right now. Have a good one, y'all. Stay safe, and we'll catch you next week.
Hey, Michael, how is it reporting on sports when there's no sports happening?
Well, that's what I was meaning by I have a job and I no longer can do that job on social media. So I'm never on social media anymore. So in that aspect, it's great.
So you're just not doing anything.
I mean, I'm doing things that don't revolve around that anymore, like reading books and playing video games. But other than that, like, it's whatever.
Reading books. Remember doing that?
Guess who reread the Percy Jackson series this week?
Of course you did.
Of course.
I've reread like the first one before, because you can read the first one in like, you know,
and just like that, we
couple
bring
hours,
it right back to the intro. We've just ticked one thing off the intro.
Yes,
all we need
that's
to do is
true.
talk about Jeffrey Epstein and whatever Robey was talking about.
No, it's Dungeons and Dragons with
Dungeons
Robey.
and Dragons, which we did. We talked about it.
So all right, Jeffrey Epstein.
Y'all want to know about Jeffrey Epstein?
He has corona too.
So what I kind of like realized was after high school, because high school ruined my love for reading. I think it did that for everybody. But like casual reading is great. And
Love reading.
I realized that in college because I had more time on my hands. So I've read a lot more books and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I used to read a lot, but for some reason it just doesn't. I mean, I still like reading, and like there are still books that I have that are like, okay, that book very like important to me, like Catcher in the Rye or Animal Farm. But nowadays, like I don't know, I just don't have like the patience, I guess.
There are definitely a couple books in high school. I don't think reading in high school ruined reading for me. I think reading in middle school ruined reading for me.
That too, yeah.
A lot of the things that we read in middle school were just not good. They were like beneath. I don't want to say anything was beneath me, but like I was already.
It was beneath me.
It's not.
I don't want to say I'm a genius, but I'm a genius.
But like I was already reading
very
like
smart.
a lot of the. I was reading like the other thing, like the things that a lot of people were reading in high school, and then we were reading like I don't know some Lord of the Flies and stuff like that that I had read or that I had already read.
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet. We would read Midsummer Night's Dream. That was just not interesting to me, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. But then you get to high school and you start reading kind of interesting things like To Kill a Mockingbird, Catcher in the Rye.
Books that actually like
Hello,
mean
Hamlet.
something.
Yeah, the Shakespeare ones that are actually like really good, not just like anger-inducing like Romeo and Juliet and Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah, I mean, I could go off for a long time because I've written essays and stuff on like how I always thought that like reading in public education tends to ruin reading for kids, and a lot of reason I think adults don't read as much as maybe they used to or they ever have is because you experience reading in your like younger years in school as just something that's not fun because you're reading a book that you don't want to read and you're being forced to read it and they're being forced to analyze it, and analyzing books is stupid and boring and no one likes it. Yeah. So it just so you can learn to write an essay on an AP exam, So yeah, I've written a couple essays. I've extensively talked to some teachers about how I don't like being forced to read books in school.
It's just it takes the fun out of it, really.
Yeah, it really does. Especially, I especially found like the analysis part of it. Like, it's one thing to be forced to read a book, but if the book's like okay, then like it's at least the book's not bad, But then you're like, okay, what did the author mean by this exact passage? And you're like, I don't know. Like,
the door is blue. What do you think that?
It's like, oh my god, when you read The Great Gatsby, like sophomore year, and the colors, and like, look, I get the colors are important. Okay, like the light on the dock is green because it represents life or whatever. I don't care.
And money.
It's just all colors. The whole time you're reading the book, she's like, what does this color mean? What does this color mean? I'm like, I don't care. Can I just read the book?
Wait, Heidi, going back to The Great Gatsby for a minute. Has anyone read what F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote after he met Ernest Hemingway for the first time?
No.
Because holy shit, is it gay. It's so fucking gay. It's like, what's the one line that's just really...
Have fun editing that, Evan.
Yeah, I will.
No. It's like he said...
We're gonna have to limit people to like 3 curses a show.
He said, the man had a face so gorgeous that at first you'd think he's dangerous, and after you met him, you'd know it's true, or something along the lines. Like, it's so gay.
So they were gay for each other.
I'm gonna find the line. That's what makes me mad about modern day artists or like authors in general.
They're not gay enough.
They're not gay enough.
Like, where are all the weird kind of like, Mary Shelley lost her virginity on her mother's grave. Like, where's that shit? Where's J.K. Rowling? Just.
I feel like
she lost her virginity. No, can we go back?
Can we talk about that?
Mary Shelley losing her virginity on her mother's grave?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Can I just say, like, by the guy there, that's a power move. All right, like having sex with the virgin daughter of a mother over the mother's grave, that's a power move,
Of a prominent feminist, like, good for her.
I mean, yeah. But, I mean, wasn't Ernest Hemingway, like, a total whack job? Like,
all of
totally
them
insane?
All of them were.
I mean, yeah. But, like, I know Ernest Hemingway was, like, super, he did everything. And was crazy, but and then what was the other guy? I know because we're learning about him in JO 150, the outlaw journalist. What's his name? I have the book. Hunter S. Thompson, the crazy dude. He's crazy. He would go and like do cocaine and LSD and report on stories.
Fun guy.
I miss all the they were hardcore. Like, Poe married his second cousin or whatever.
No, Poe's death is just one of the most entertaining things. He just shows up in a random city after being missing for 2 days.
3 days, yeah.
Drunk, high on opium, wearing clothes he does not own, and no one knows where he got, and he does not know how he got there or what happened or where he got the clothes, and he just dies.
That's the most metal thing I've ever seen.
What happened to him? Now, granted, he wrote The Raven, which is objectively the worst piece of writing I've ever seen in my entire life.
But he also wrote The Telltale Heart, which is
Telltale Heart's okay. Telltale Heart's
what's
good.
What's the one where
there's Black Cat. That one's messed up.
Where's the girl who's getting bricked?
That's Black Cat.
Is that Black Cat? I always forget.
I don't know. I liked The Raven. I thought it was good.
Well, I should just disclaimer, I hate poetry with a passion. Just all poetry, despise it.
I mean, so did I. I dislike writing poetry. But I thought like it just kind of just the way it's written. I like how The Raven sounds, and I like some of the lines in it, like long there he stood into that darkness, dreaming or something dreaming, fearing, wondering, all that.
I like, and this goes for like movies and books, not just poems, but I like to have a concrete story. Like you can, like in a book, or like take like a movie like 2001. I hate 2001.
Don't even talk to me
because I have no idea what the fuck happens in that movie, and I like knowing what happens in like the things I read or the things I watch. And you can have allegory or symbolism, but beneath that there has to be, for me, an underlying narrative that I can follow. And then from that, I branch off.
Because of the allegory, then that's just bad story writing.
Yeah, but then like a poetry is just the symbolism or the allegory. There's the underlying story is just gone.
Yeah.
Like in The Raven, I have no idea what's happening. And I get that's the point. I get you're supposed to make your own assumption, but I just don't like that. Like I don't know, is the Raven real? Is he hallucinating the Raven? Is it an opium hallucination? I don't know, and I would like to know.
I mean, that's how you get poems like The Red Wheelbarrow. That is just like a red wheelbarrow, and it's like 5 lines talking about a red wheelbarrow.
Or what's the plums or whatever in the freezer or something like that? Do you know that one?
Yeah, I've heard that one.
I hate that.
When you said that, I thought of the story. It was a short story, Lamb to the Slaughter, where the wife just murders her husband with a lamb leg.
Oh yeah, and then
I feel like I've read that.
Yeah, that was a story because
short stories so much better. I love short stories because you can do well-written ones. You can do so much more than with like a full-length novel because you can leave so many things like up in the air. Ray Bradbury was really good at it.
He was pretty good.
But
I just really like short stories because I had a teacher in 8th grade I loved her. She was amazing. And she would read us the stories out loud. Like rather than us just reading them ourselves and, talking about it, she would like read them to us because why not? And she knew the story so she could reflect on it better. So she read us Lamb to the Slaughter out, just took a whole hour class period and read it to us, and just like had us like wrapped, like we just like wanted to know what was happening. And then when she like murdered her husband with that frozen piece of lamb, like we were just like, everybody just went crazy in the room. Like it was just like, oh my god, like this is great. Like that.
That's a good one. Have you read
that I love.
Where Have You Going, Where Have You Been?
No.
That's a good one.
Isn't that Cotton Eye Joe?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
I have in fact read The Cotton-Eyed Joe. A wonderful
that's a
tale.
good one. A Good Man's Hard to Find. That's a good one. No, Where Are You Going, Where Have You Been is written by, I'm about to shame some people.
Cotton Eye Joe?
Yes.
It's about this girl who answers like the door, and it's this like young guy, and like through the process of like 2 pages you go from thinking he's a normal guy to all these like weird things happening until at the end you're convinced he's not human. It's like one of those things where it's like you think you see something that's like, the only thing I can think to describe is the not deer, and I won't describe that on air.
Please describe that off air. I don't know what you're talking about.
I feel like I've told you guys about the not deer of the Blue Ridge Parkway. But anyway, it's like they just slowly slip in things that just are definitely like not normal. It's such a good story. Don't let me go off on it.
Yeah, I haven't read many short stories just because the focus when I was in school was always very much, at least it felt like, on novels or poems or plays. We read all plays because we read all Shakespeare, and then we read like the Crucible.
That's
we read like the nice. We read like the Crucible. I remember reading the Crucible, and it was one of those like where every kid in the class picked like a part, and then we went around and just like read out the whole play.
That was the only fun part about the Crucible, was reading it out.
That it was fun until we had that one kid, and maybe anyone listening or you guys have had this experience, and had that one kid who's like the theater kid, and he feels like he needs to like blow people away and put like this like really over the top performance into the play. And look, go to theater and do that there. Like we're just kind of having fun. Like if you want to put like a little bit of inflection and stuff,
yeah,
the play, that's fine. But I don't need you like doing a soliloquy on your knees, like crying out to the world, while the rest of us are just kind of like casually reading it, having a good time.
We had that, but it was always
it was very cringy.
Good. Yeah, it was always a guy who wasn't in theater who'd do it.
You try too hard.
Yeah.
Just like such an attention seeking move, Yeah. And it's like, can we just read it normally? Like we're not actually performing the play; we're just reading it aloud,
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, this whole conversation is a digression, but
I mean, might as well.
All right, digression.
I don't know. This is our next topic. I will honestly.
The title of this episode is a digression.
Digression. I think we had something like that with the play Fences, which is just
That's
really
a good play.
Yeah, I really
play.
like that play, and I had to play the main character, who I forget his name, but he was played by Denzel.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, the movie was phenomenal.
The movie was great.
Movie slaps.
Yeah.
Only problem with the movie is the movie's kind of boring because it's based on a play. Where in the play, nothing really happens.
I mean, yeah. I think what carries that play is the actors and the dialogue.
Oh, yeah. Like Denzel Washington and what's her name? God. She played like
She's in How to Get Away with Murder.
Is she a Suicide Squad?
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis, that's her.
She
was very good as well.
Yeah. She's great. I think that's like a play that's carried by the dialogue and the actors, because the story isn't really there. There's not really a story. It's just
it's really good.
Yeah, it's really good and compelling, but it's just people, a poor black family in the South. Where are they in that? Chicago or something?
Yes.
In the Midwest / South. I do not remember, but
I read it in sophomore year, so
yeah, it's been a minute. But
we're old.
But yeah, the story isn't super there, but the dialogue and the actors and all that is great. And I remembered that God, I'm just forgetting everybody's name right now. Originally played him.
Oh wait, James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. Yeah, James Earl Jones originally played him, and I think I have the video saved of him playing that character. It was really good.
You guys, my teacher got mad at me the other day. Speaking of James Earl Jones, we're reading Hamlet in my Shakespeare class, and they got to that kind of iconic part where like the ghost, which if you guys didn't know, Lion King is just Hamlet with lions. It's like he literally says like "remember me," and I went Simba, and my teacher got mad at me.
Simba. Remember who
it's true.
Yeah.
It's like that's the only thing that
story
really is like Timon and Pumbaa. There's no, Timon and Pumbaa in Hamlet. Yeah. But it'd be better.
Well, then what's the point of Hamlet? That's the best part of Lion King.
So Lion King without Timon and Pumbaa.
Where's the Hakuna Matata?
Yeah.
What's the matter with you?
I want to know the equivalent of Hakuna Matata in Hamlet. I want that to be in the next.
What do they sing?
Yes.
Can someone put Hakuna Matata into like a Shakespeare generator?
My God, please.
Switching up the topics a little bit, but we'll pretend we have a plan on what we're talking about.
Absolutely. What are you talking about? This was totally fine.
The old Disney movies. Like I have Disney Plus and I'm bored, so I've been watching like the old Aladdin. I've been watching the old Lion King. I've been watching like Hunchback of Notre Dame, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't on Disney Plus. Like I'm living my childhood.
Okay, totally not related, but Perks Being Wallflower just got put on Netflix. So
I saw that. I need to
finally
watch it. I need to finally watch it.
It's a bit of a downer, but
just a little.
Yeah. I didn't know Ezra Miller was in it until very recently.
Yeah.
So yeah,
good movie. It's a little dark for this time, but
no, I just miss a time where Disney was like good, and you almost felt like they were ethical, even though you knew they weren't. But like at the same time,
back when Walt was abusing the animators, and we all knew it, but we were all like, "No, he wouldn't."
Wasn't he an anti-Semite?
Yeah, he was.
I mean, Walt was a lot
hate the
things.
Jews.
Yeah, he did.
Walt hated a lot of people.
Yeah,
but like
kind of a dick. Yeah,
Emperor's New Groove is a masterpiece onto its own, and I
love Emperor's New Groove.
I love Emperor's New Groove. I love Road to El Dorado. I love Atlantis: The Lost City. Like all of it. That one studio.
Was it Road to El Dorado DreamWorks?
Was it? I could have sworn it was that same little studio. Maybe not. Either way, fantastic movie. They're all just great. I miss them. And then, I've been trying to resist watching Frozen 2, but I kind of want to clown on it because I hated Frozen. And I'm like, well, I might as well.
I liked Frozen at the time. This was 6th grade. Or 7th grade.
Did Frozen really come out
in
middle school?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
I think it came out earlier too, because it took me a while to watch it. But
I didn't watch it till like freshman year.
Yeah, but I liked it when I first saw it. But time has really taught me how bad it was, or how the story itself is fine, but like
there's no story. They don't know what they're doing. They like halfway through, they're like, the bad guy is the prince. Like that wasn't the plan. You can tell.
Well, honestly, that doesn't even come about till the 3rd act. Like you don't find out who the villain is till the 3rd act, and the whole.
Best part about Disney movies, the villain song. Like,
guess what we didn't get?
Friends on the Other Side. Whatever, Poor Unfortunate Souls. Like, all of them are the bangers. And we didn't have one.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
I know my sister and my mom watched Frozen 2 recently, and they didn't have glowing reviews of it. So
even Moana had a villain song.
But Moana was good. Moana and Coco were good.
But Moana didn't really have a villain.
Yeah, I have not seen Coco.
Seth,
Coco made me cry.
As a Hispanic, Coco was beautiful. I really
as a Hispanic, I feel you need to know.
No, honestly, like I say that genuinely. Like it actually was like really impactful for me. I mean, I'm not Mexican, obviously, which is that whole thing is based off of Dia de las Muertas. But like, I really loved the whole aesthetic.
I like whenever Evan says something Spanish because he likes to put a little kind of you put a little Spanish flair.
He's got the
there.
twang, yeah.
That I'm way too like American and white to do.
I gotta.
Yeah. It's the prettier version of what happens whenever I say something slightly more southern than usual.
Well, that's just hilarious, though. That's just great.
Sometimes it'll slip out.
100%.
But I was raised by like my southern mother and my very northern father, and both of them don't really have an accent, but both of them will slip up a couple times. So I slip up a couple times. Like, I have unironically said quota, but I have also unironically done like the full "what are y'all doing?" You know, like
what's going on in here?
Exactly.
What abomination?
Yeah,
I am an abomination. That's what I like. I am the East Coast abomination.
Does your father like slip into Southern or
no? I mean, he was raised Foxborough, Massachusetts. He's been here for 20 years, so he's lost that accent, but he picked up y'all, and that's it. And even then, he doesn't say y'all like we do.
Right. I feel like I found my I don't notice it with my parents because I've just been raised by them, but everybody tells me that my parents, like, when they hear them and they're not like trying to hide the accent, that they have an accent. Like, my parents were both born and raised Brooklyn, so they will couple times I will hear them say, it'll just happen and it'll be like, whoa, that was New York of you.
My best friend from childhood, her parents were from Cameroon in Africa. So it's that like French African, because they all speak French over there.
Oh, French African. Accent. Beautiful. Or African French
I
is beautiful.
could listen to them reading Merriam-Webster dictionary, and I swear it could like put me to sleep and send me off into the moon. Like, I love their accent so much. Funniest thing though, her mom couldn't say the word mom because the O was weird, so it was always ma'am. It was like, how's your ma'am? And we're like, oh, we love you.
I don't have an accent, or I don't think I have an accent.
No,
but I
you
mean,
don't really have an accent.
Yeah, no. I mean, there is like the main accent, but that's like the accent that the lobstermen have. So like, I obviously am not a lobsterman, you know, or I don't funny. Live on the down east, so
the four
like,
of
I
us
just don't have that.
Are South Carolina, Maine, Jersey, and Florida, and none of us really have an accent.
No.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad. Like, not that I want the full Maine accent because it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of, I heard described as like, it's like the Boston accent, but just more drunk. Which,
it's the Southern Boston.
You know, it's fun, but I would not want to talk like that just for everything. But like every now and then, it's like, oh yeah. Like why? Who needs ours? You know, at the end of words, that's just stupid.
That's true. I wish I could slip into the Boston accent. I can slip into the Southern.
Well, we haven't been. I don't think we've been in Boston long enough for it to really set in.
Yeah, we have to like live in Boston, like
more exposure to it than us. But
that's true because like I have my grandmother. My grandmother is so like Roxbury in the 30s Boston, which is where she was raised. You know.
Meanwhile, my sister is like picking up stuff from Philly, which she says is like an amalgamation of like New York, Chicago, and Boston accents, just like all melded into one with a little bit of like Washington. Like, I don't even know what Washington sounds like, but it's in there.
Yeah. Somehow it's snuck its way in there.
Yeah,
it just sounds weird.
But I don't think
if you ever say Wooder, I'm gonna shoot you.
No, I can't say water. I can't say Wooder. It doesn't. It's water.
No, the Boston accent is kind of like, not many people really have like the full-on Boston accent like they used to, because that's really like kind of a Southie like accent, like kind of Goodwill Hunting, like that, you know.
Yeah,
that kind of like really heavy accent, you know.
Yeah, the next time I visit my grandmother, I'll record it.
Yeah. Now, I treasure talking to my buddy Richard at my job at Boston because he's an older, like 60-year-old man from Boston, and he's got the full accent. So he's like, I'm talking to the guy, and he talked over there, and I'm like, oh yes. It just makes me. It just makes me feel good.
Yeah, but I the Boston accent's fun. I'm kind of disappointed that like Zafi, like we know her, she's from Boston, but she has no accent.
I'll hear it sometimes. She has more like It's not really.
She's very
that
like distinct. Like when I hear Zoffy talk, I'm like, oh, that's Zoffy.
That's just
not like
it's
not like the classic. Yeah, it's not like the classic like Southie accent. She would be appalled if we told her she had a Southie accent.
Yeah, no, she would hate
be
us.
So angry.
But
you guys, I've come to a conclusion. I'm officially done. Like, this Corona thing was kind of funny for a while, and it was just at least interesting. Now I'm just done. Like, I'm bored. I want to be back in society,
There was a moment where I was like, wow, I'm really living through history right now. That's kind of not cool, but like that's kind of interesting. And now I'm just like, make it end. It's like, please.
It was supposed to be space travel.
Yeah. I remember there was a time when I remember we would read through like history books and talk about what people were doing during like World War II and stuff like that, and 9/11, and my parents would talk about it. And I was like, I wonder if sometime I'll be able to live through something like that. I wonder what it's going to feel like. And now it's just like, I really wish I didn't say that.
Man, I gotta say, as an anxious little kid, I was always, whenever I'd read about World War II, I was like, man, please not me.
I always find myself just being like, I just kind of wish something would happen. Like, in the sense, I just wish like something interesting would happen, especially nowadays where everything is just boring.
I think people are just waiting for it to be over without understanding that
it's not
unfortunately this is going to take a long time.
Yeah.
Optimistically, it's 2 years. Unoptimistically, it revamps over 4 to 7 times in the next 10 years.
And hopefully we get a grasp on it before then.
Yeah, depending on how it mutates. That's like worst case scenario. Someone's been playing way too much Plague Inc. up in the sky.
Yeah.
I think it will probably take the summer off, and then the fall's gonna be rough.
But I think... Go ahead.
I was just say I stopped reading the news because it just makes me like sad, I just don't like it.
Well, like I think of like I have a class every Tuesday night, and I was in a discussion group with somebody, and they were talking about how they were a senior, and like right now they're living by themselves. They don't really have like a lot of family around them to help them out, and if they are done with the BU, like what's next? They can't go get a job right now. Nobody's hiring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to live?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like the news because it's all the same. I hate whenever the news is all one story. I hate it. So.
You know what's been really amusing for me? I don't know if I've ever said this on air, but I am diagnosed with OCD. And so it has been very amusing seeing people who just as anxious as I am normally. And I've talked with other people who are like have the same kind of disorder, and if not OCD, then like GAD, which is general anxiety disorder. And it's like they're all having the same kind of feeling of like seeing people who are like normally chill and normal all of the sudden, living like we usually live. And we're like, that's kind of weird. But at the same time, it's a little scary because you can't just be like, oh, this is just my mind going crazy anymore.
Yeah, it sucks.
Now normal people are like...
now normal people are like, wow, this sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so sorry.
So, it's definitely been a very strange experience.
Yeah. I definitely don't have like anxiety, super bad anxiety normally, but this is like really tested me because I'm always like looking, like waking up, like, is it over yet? No, it's not over yet. Like having that conversation with myself, like, is it done yet? No, it's not. You're stupid for even asking that question. And then like checking, and then like, when is this gonna, like, just like thinking about things that are gonna be happening like weeks in the future. Like, how is this gonna affect me? What am I gonna be doing? How am I gonna get, like, I still have to look for internships now. Like, I still have to, like, how is that gonna affect whatever is going on? Like, it's just too much right now. Really is.
Yeah, it's like trying to think about like, what am I going to be doing in July? Like, even if this ends before the summer and like, or takes the summer off or whatever, And like, are all the places I worked going to be open, or are they not going to open because of the corona? Or are they just going to go out of business because they had to open late or whatever?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, am I just going to be like sitting here over the summer?
Am I going to be doing the same exact thing I'm doing now?
Yeah, like, is this going to be it until, God willing, we go back to school?
Yeah, it's funny, I found something that helps is instead of like wondering about the future, you start planning. So like, and you can never be anything big because then it's not going to happen. But we just planned out in detail what we're doing for my brother's birthday, which is in June, and having that just for some reason helps because it's kind of like immune to the coronavirus, but it's also just like it's an endpoint, it's something in the future that is set in stone. And it just makes everything a little bit more easier to hold on to.
Yeah, I think I have there's a wedding going on that I'm going to be going to, God willing, in August that I'm looking at right now. I'm like, that's the benchmark right now. Like, I'm obviously not planning that wedding, but like I'm going to it and we're preparing for going to it and like what's going to be going on. Like, that's what I'm like holding on to right now.
Yeah,
it's just
my brother's getting married in October, so I have the same thing I hope that we've recovered enough in October to be able to have the wedding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to go to that, obviously. And I'm in that wedding, so it's like it's a whole thing. But hopefully it'll be fine. We're
gonna have to be planning our birthday bashes over Zoom.
Over Zoom,
bro.
Yeah. Who has the first birthday here? All right, coming up, anyways.
Well, Robey,
Mike's, when's your birthday? No, it's gonna be Evan. When's Mike's birthday?
October 15th. So I got a while.
So it is Evan. Evan's May.
Mid-May. Mid-May. I'm hoping right by mid-May because I'm on my birthday. I'm supposed to be moving back up to Boston for orientation, which is still happening. Knock on wood. So yeah, it's just a lot right now. There's a lot going on.
Even after the quarantine ends, I feel people are going to be so paranoid.
Yeah.
Like, it's still going to be, like, even if they hold orientation and, like, the quarantine's ended, people are still going to be like, oh, should we go? Like, we might still get it, even if, like, cases go down.
Until we have a vaccine, no one's ever going to feel safe completely until that,
Yeah, especially if this, like people have said, might, like, kind of have a cycle like the flu where in the winter it comes back around.
Yeah.
Well, before we end the show, let's do something funny. I don't know. I don't want to end the show on that.
What a bummer.
Yeah. It's like, well, welcome. That's UI squared, y'all.
I will now describe in detail how I plan to consume a spine.
Please.
I am intrigued.
I am intrigued beyond belief.
There's like 3 ways you could do it. So one, you could do it as like a kebab,
What are you putting on it?
Just your general kind of like beef, pork, maybe some peppers, and then you use like the vertebrae as like sections, and like in between you stuff it with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or
you could grind it.
That was the
you could grind and take that thing right up the nose,
Oh.
Get the spine. Get spine straight to the brain.
So do you just want to do it like cocaine, or are we talking?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, just get the brain. Just get the spine straight to the brain.
You just
it's spinal fluid into your femoral artery.
I feel like you're not supposed to put things in that.
And then you make noodles out of your nervous system.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I hope you imagine noodle nerves is what we're making in 2020.
My spine. I was imagining like a soup, like.
Hold on to your spine, Evan. I'm coming for it.
She's coming for us. God, I'm living with you next year. Please, I'm gonna be.
I'm the one who's gonna share a room with her. Maybe we don't know. We might end up.
Me and Antonio can just lock the door.
None of your spines are safe. I don't know what you're talking about.
She'll use my spine to bash down the door to get you your room and your spines.
I would not wreck a perfectly spine. I'd use your leg.
Oh, God. So you're just fully going to kill Seth before you come for us.
I mean, he's such an easy kill,
Oh, yeah.
She says you're not a challenge, Seth. You're just gonna take that laying down. Like,
I'll whisper nuclear war and she'll fall down.
oh,
No,
that's
I'll just attack
that's a
you.
low blow. That's a
Bro,
low blow.
You think you can set me off? You have no power here.
You just say, "Wait, did you hear about what happened on the news?" And she's like, "What?" And go.
Did you hear about Iran? What?
And then run.
I live my life in fear. Nice try.
You're like the Hulk. You're always afraid.
Yes. I'm here. I'm clear.
Well, now that we've established Robey is the Hulk,
Yes.
I think that's a good
fear.
That's
That's
where
a
we
good place to end. I am the Hulk of fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Robey's the Hulk of fear.
Stay safe, you guys out there. And as always, just take it real sleazy.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Like
Be
real
safe.
pimp level. Like, I got hoes in Atlanta, and I slap a bitch if she don't give me that money.
But make sure you wear gloves, though.
Just get some spines, man. Get some spines.
That's true. Gloves and a ring.
Put the glove, but the ring goes over the gloves.
Obviously.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, y'all. Stay safe. We'll see you next week.